Hi. So first video in some time. Again, probably the last for some time. Indeed, maybe, perhaps the last ever. You know, no commitments from here on in as to whether I will make any more videos at all, basically. So there is this there is this perception that when someone says they're tired or whatever, there is this standard perception idea of what it means. And lately, I've been getting the sense in my own life and in the sense of people's reactions to me, you know, that there is this perception that a ticking clock is counting down. You know, how long before he kills himself, right? And in some senses, you know, it's genuinely a cold issue of practicality that does concern me, of like, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna get the money to stay the fuck alive. Right, that's genuinely a thing that is just there. That I am too disabled to work, basically, too disabled to get hired, not disabled enough to claim disability, too disabled to reliably claim job seekers allowance, not disabled enough to claim disability, and so there is this thing of, you know, when's the money gonna run out? What happens when it does? You know? And this is actually why I genuinely do get a little angry when people are like, you're on benefits, you're benefit scrounger. It's like, I'm not. If I was on benefits, I wouldn't be at risk of fucking committing suicide. Because I'm not suicidal out of some, oh, woe is me. I'm just like, at some point the money's gonna run out. And do I really want to sit here draining the resources of my family? Now, they want me to. You know, they don't want me dead. And I can't think of a solution that means I have the money to live. I mean, that's why I kept plugging away at YouTube for so long, right? And then basically a family crisis happened at home, and can't do YouTube anymore because I have to be able to deal with this crisis, and I don't have the energy for this. And so there is very much this sense, I think, within my sort of hate community, that there's blood in the water, he's gonna kill himself, everybody, come on, he's gonna kill himself, come on, turn on himself, say you're gonna kill himself, come on, commit suicide, come on, we can do this, let's kill the fucker. And it's like, no, that's, no, that's not actually what's happening here. Okay, so I'm gonna explain some things to you. And this is kind of stuff that I've talked about before in various different places, various different blogs, or whatever, but I'm kind of putting it all together here now because, well, to put it bluntly, I am now at a point where things are kind of going to be make or break for me. So I'm going to lay it out. when I talk about being tired, I do not literally mean I need to go and have a lie down, right? When I say when I need Diet Coke to function and stuff, I'm not literally like, oh, I'm so tired, I can't, I'm asleep. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this idea of cognitive load, right? You imagine that the mind is a machine, right? Because it's the brain, right? It's living, it's alive, it's made of cells and what have you, but at the end of the day, it is a complex thing made up of different things with functions that work together to achieve an outcome. That outcome is sentience and sapience, but at the end of the day, right, as a person, you have things you want to do, right? And so that means there is a certain factor of reducibility to the situation. And we can see this through the study of artificial intelligence as well, using it as an analogy, right? Essentially, your brain has a certain amount of processing power. It has a certain amount of long-term memory, it has a certain amount of short-term memory, and it has so much energy to devote to tasks. It has got so much processing potential to devote to the tasks that need to be done. And it can only do so many at once. It can only do so many so fast. It can only remember so many tasks. And there are limits to what it can and cannot process. And I brought up in one of my blogs this idea that when I was trying to explain how autism makes socializing difficult for me, that there is this idea, this sort of this conceptual rhetorical tool that is used to sort of help people understand just how fucking difficult development for artificial intelligence is, right? Which is that you think of how easy is it to make a cup of tea. I'm an Englishman, I like tea, right? I'm gonna go and make myself a mug of tea. Well, it's simple. I get mug, I get tea bag, I get teaspoon, I get tea bag, plop in the mug, put on the water. When the water boils, it goes in, a couple of teaspoons of sugar, boom, dosh. Wait for it to cool, and then I drink it, right? I mean, that's what we think, it's just like milk, 2 sugars. We think about tea at such a higher level of steps that need to be done. We don't think of it at the lowest level. We think of it just in terms of, well, to make tea bags, you need a mug, you need a spoon, you need sugar, you need tea, or milk, or we just think of what do we like in our tea? How do we like it? Maybe you're someone who likes to decant your tea into a bloody teapot so that you can pour it like that. I mean, I've got a teapot that I use for when I want to have a lot of tea and I can't be fucked with constantly boiling the bloody kettle just to get another bloody single mug. So we think of it at this higher level, but when you're being a sort of AI programmer, you've got to think, okay, so you want to get the tea, right? How do you do that? And you have to break it down. Okay, so it's like, okay, you're making a mug of tea. Okay, you boil a kettle, right? What's involved in boiling the kettle? Well, first you've got to pick up the kettle. Then you've got to take it over to where the cup is, to where the tap is. You've got to open the lid of the kettle. You've got to turn on the tap. You've got to wait for enough of the water to flow into the kettle. Then you've got to turn off the tap, and then you've got to close the lid of the kettle, take it back over to the sort of the power supply for the kettle, plug it in, turn it on, and that's just to put the fucking water on the boil, right? And so every single step is actually a lot more complicated than we realise, right? We're constantly doing all these little tiny things, and we don't think about it. And this is brought up in reference to sort of AI, because it's like, yeah, if you're programming artificial intelligence, you don't just have to think, okay, it's got to get the tea bag and the sugar and the milk into the tea. You've also got to think, okay, well, how's it gonna get the tea? How's it gonna get the tea out of the thing? You've got to think about navigating the obstacles in the path. You've got to think about, opening the cupboard. You've got to think about getting the bloody box of tea bags out and picking the tea bags out and then putting stuff away again. Like, all this stuff has to be thought about when you're programming artificial intelligence. And obviously, we as people, our brains are a lot better than, the artificial intelligences that we've got at the moment. They're a lot more complex, a lot more fluid, a lot more able to make a lot more connections, a lot more, and they run a lot faster and what have you. But at the end of the day, our minds are machines, at least as far as I'm concerned, but there is no grand spark of, doodad or what's it, no, there is no great fourth dimensional thing stretching back into the ether, and well, you see, that's where our memories are stored. So therefore we are limited by energy. We are limited by how much raw mechanical power our brains have. Okay, and the issue I have in sort of social situations is that I know social skills consciously. So therefore, when I am talking to someone, I have to consciously think about what I'm saying. I see people and they don't filter what they're saying. I mean, I know an autistic guy who literally cannot filter what he is saying. He cannot process it. There is no way for him to do that. So he's just a constant stream of stuff, which is very difficult if part of the stream of stuff that he's saying is, you have a funny voice! Ah! Right? Because they just don't think. They don't have the ability to. Of course, neurotypical people do have the ability to think, but it's like the whole tea making example, right? Most people don't actually think, well, if I want to go put tea in the kettle, first I've got to walk over, and then I've got to open the cupboard, and then I've got to pick up the box of tea bags, and then I've got to open the box of tea bags, and then I've got to reach in and grab the tea. You don't think about that. You just think, tea. I want tea. So when you're talking to someone, most neurotypical people, when they're talking to people, they're just, responding. They might be thinking, oh, this guy's being boring, or he's being a bit of a dick, oh, this is a really sad situation, what should I say? You're not thinking precisely through, like, what's their body language like? What are their vocal intonations like? What does this mean? What does that mean? I have to do that, right? For me to socialize with any degree of finesse, I have to be consciously processing. And so for me, like, this is why there is a different hierarchy of communications, right? Text communications, for me, right, there's no time issue there, right? And that's why I actually hate instant message programs, right? I'll talk about this in a moment when I talk about phone calls, but basically, right, with sort of text-based communication, sort of like emails or whatever, there, you fire off a message. There is no pressure about time-wise of sending the message. No pressure time-wise about reading the message. You read it, you write, you send, right? And if a message comes up that stresses you out, you can go calm down. You can go for a walk, have a nice mug of tea. You can get some food, have a nap. Right? Like, there is no time issue. You have all the time in the world to process what the fuck's going on and sort out your reply, which I love, and so that's why my writing is always infinitely better. Well, not infinitely, but my writing is always so much better than my videos, right? Because I can take the time to carefully think through what words I am going to use, whereas I don't have this, you know. And it's like, people get annoyed at how, your breathing is so annoying! And it's like, yeah, but in my writing, right, I can go back and I can fix stuff. Like, I am someone who, you might have noticed by now, I'm quite rambling. I go on for a lot, and in fact, I think we've hit the 17-minute mark, and this is going to be a long video, so I'm going to pause here so it won't take so long to render. But, in a sort of, in a blog, in a text article, in a text message, I can stop and say, hold on, no, that's way too long. That sentence is like 5 or 6 lines long. I'm gonna break that up, right? I can't do that with sort of face-to-face communication. I can't stop myself midway through a half-hour long, lecture and sort of go, let me go back and add some pauses in and moments for you to process and ask. Like, I can't do that, right? So text is good because it gives me time to process. But text is bad because it's low data, right? It's all context sensitive, right? And this is why I am always like full on. I will send everything. I will write essays. Because I would rather give you an abundance of data you can skip over than have you wonder what the fuck I am saying. Of course, the counter to this is descriptions, right? Descriptions, when it comes to my writing, are the opposite, because if I'm reading a story or listening to a story, I want to have processing power spare to focus on the characters and the plot. I don't want processing power used up thinking, oh, so the castle looked like that, and the drapes looked like that, and the floor looked like that, and they were wearing this, and it looked like that, and they had this kind of haircut, and like, right? Data that is there matters so much, both in the sense of like, am I getting the data I need to adequately understand what the fuck you are saying? Are you getting the data you need to adequately understand what the fuck I am saying? And is there any data in there that is just useless and pointless? Right? But with text-based stuff, you can at least, you have a certain amount of control over, you can skim past passages and what have you, and you can go, okay, this person doing a whole load of stuff I don't care about. The next paragraph. You can't do that with audio communication. Let's move to video communication. video communication, there is data, there is body language, there is vocal intonation, right? But, as already mentioned, there is the time factor. The fact that I don't have the ability to process how I'm going to reply to what someone is saying. The fact that I don't have the ability to process what I'm saying. Right? I'm having to think consciously and react to them, but I don't quite have, you know, I don't quite have the ability to pause, go back and go, you know what, that was fucked up, I need to change that, right? And I suppose, you know, as much as I took offence at the people going, no, you're breathing and I don't like it. That is genuinely a factor that makes face-to-face communication difficult, right? Because I'm having to consciously take in all this data. All data is important. So if you are someone who happens to be dressed in an annoying way, sounding an annoying way, looking an annoying way, like, it genuinely is difficult to look at a fucking uggo. And I know I'm saying this, but like, genuinely, it is hard to maintain a conversation with someone when you're thinking like, I don't like this. Why have they got so many warts? What's wrong with their acne? Well, there's got a thing there. Why did I sort of a thing there? And honestly, like, I swear to God, like, trans people already hate me, but like, when you don't know someone's gender, like, because we're so used to being people who kind of can categorize, boom, bosh, boom, bosh, boom, bosh, right? And apart from anything else, right? I'm a 6-foot guy. I'm a 6-foot guy who writes fucking Vorfic. I'm very aware I need to treat women differently. I need to be a lot more deferential. I need to be a lot more aware. You know, women, they are exposed to a lot of creeps. You can't be of the same level to women. You have to be a lot more careful about what you're saying because, you know, because to a certain extent, guys can, you know, threaten to kill each other every other week and still be best friends. Whereas, you know, women are like, ah, he's smiling at me creepily, he's going to rape me. Right, and to a certain extent, you know, they're kind of right to be paranoid because, like, there are so many horror stories of women who are just like, you know, yeah, totally, nice guy should be trusted, but this guy was being creepy and then he tried to do horrible things to me. So, you know, so it is helpful to kind of have some sort of thing, and even if that is just me being a sort of passively transphobic bigot, right? The fact that I am looking at someone and I don't know what gender they are, that is a question that is going off in my brain, right? It's like constantly pinging the server, reducing the bandwidth I have for thinking about anything else. You know, and it's also like tripping off all other feedback systems as I'm like remembering, yes, I remember what it was like, not a thing, you know, maybe they're not trans, maybe they've just got a condition, maybe they're just having a bad hair day, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but suddenly my brain is asking all these questions, when it's like, I didn't need to be having those questions asked. That's why I actually really like at sort of like conventions and stuff where they're just like, these are my pronouns. Right? Because you can just tell at a glance, it's like you're talking to someone, and your brain starts going ping, 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 and then you just clock the badge and you go, okay, stop sending. We know what we know what's going on here, right? I know how to treat this person now. It's okay. And I can stop. I can stop the processes wondering what this person is like and focus on what the fuck they are saying properly. And I use the trans as as kind of an example of the ways in which, you know, this kind of stuff is subconscious and kind of dickish, right? In the sense that, you know, this does happen for fucking everything, you know. It's like, judging demographics and hairstyles and things, and it's, you know, it's I'm genuinely a little bit of a horrible man, and kind of the processing power thing of like servers pinging away. That is genuinely part of why talking to people can be so difficult. With my mother, what makes it difficult is I remember, right? I am consciously processing what people say to me. And so I remember what you said. But my mother will repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and go this and that and this and that, repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. And to a certain extent it gets like, you know, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And it's like, okay, get it. I get it. I fucking get it. You don't need to keep fucking repeating it. But people do, because they just do. They do. And I know people who have got anxiety, and they will get locked into just patterns of repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, because it's like their mental buffer has been used up, and they're just dumping what's in their buffer space over and over and over again. Like, genuinely, I know an autistic guy who, if something goes wrong, his brain basically freezes. It's like Windows has shut down, it's just blue screen, and he is just constantly looping the last 5 seconds on repeat. What did I do wrong? 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 And it's just like, I heard you, I heard you, I heard you, I heard you, I heard you. So what I'm saying is, I'm not a good fucking nurse. I am not a good fucking nurse, and we will come back to that. We will come back to that. Probably. So you know, face-to-face communication, more data. Some of that data is unhelpful. Less processing time to respond to that data. And so this is why I hate phone calls, right? Because online communication, online technology has given us a lot of wonderful things. And I do like Skype, because Skype allows you to have face-to-face communication. But what it also does is it introduces technical difficulties into the issue. So now you're wondering, what the fuck's going on? Why can't I hear them? What did they say when they meant that? Should I repeat? And things get more complicated, and when they get more complicated, the processing power required to have a conversation becomes more complicated. Phones are hell. Phones are hell, because phones are instantaneous communication. Phones have much less context. Much less fucking context. Right? All you've got is the sound of the other person's voice at the other end of what they're saying. And as someone who, because I struggle with telephones because of this, people will like, there are people who will try to help me when I'm on the phone, and basically they're overhearing what I'm saying, they're not hearing what the other person has said, so they will shout up. They will try to give me advice, and so suddenly I'm trying to listen to this time-sensitive, low-context data, whilst at the same time this time-sensitive, high-volume data is going on at the same time, and I've got to try and respond to both, and it's just like, no, I can't, fuck you! Yeah, like, so there are times when people will just phone me and I'm just like, nope, fuck you, because phones are just the worst, right? Like, I can understand their usefulness in the sense of, like, I hen and peck type, right? One finger typing. And one finger typing, also known as Brady typing. And for me, I can do that very fast, but I need the ability to look at the screen and look at what I'm typing, and I've got big fingers, so I need to have a big keyboard. Touch screens are so shitty because you cannot see what you're typing and what you're pressing at the same time. And it's especially unhelpful because for some fucking awful reason, right, they have this little thing that pops up of just like, oh, you just press this key and this key and this key and this key. So it's like, great, you're adding distractions to fucking typing on a virtual keyboard that's shitty and small and doesn't give me the other context I need to fucking write this. So therefore, I can understand the context of like a phone call, because then you can just go, ring, ring, yes, I'm here, pick me up, click, right? Which is horrible and obnoxious, and I sound like an arsehole. And I kind of am an arsehole, because as we've discussed before, yeah, I clearly am trans-ignorant, and also probably a little bit racist, in the sense that it's like, yes, white women, I love all of the white women in the world, and it's like, few black women are good enough, but even then it's like, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk upsetting people. Like, you know, white woman in a collar, ooh, sexy. Black woman in a collar, no, slavery, not nice, right? I mean, I know a lot of the people who watch my videos are Nazis, so I don't know, but I'm not this. No. This would be one of those occasions where vocal communication is too fast, and I'm really wishing I had a delete button, but I can't be fucked to edit this, so fuck it. I made a gigantic fool of myself. I'm not always the nicest guy in the world. Little bit of a shithead, sorry about that. Although I try not to be, but a little bit of a shithead. And obnoxious to be around because of my, you know, autism, sort of meaning that I can only process so much at the same time. And this is why text chat is also annoying. Because I love writing. Writing is good. Writing as a form of communication is good. 4chan is annoying as fuck. Instant messaging is annoying as fuck because it's like, hey, not only are we going to make it so you don't have the context of face-to-face communication, not only are we going to make it so you don't have the time to properly respond and process what the fuck you're going to say and what the fuck they've just said, we're also going to add in this entire culture that you don't have a fucking clue about, and a good helping of paranoia as well, to just make that job a little bit harder. So this is why I basically do not communicate in any forms with fucking fucking instant messaging, because I do not want instant messaging. In fact, I would be a whole lot happier if we didn't have Skype, and in fact, what we had were, you know, sort of delayed video messages, right? If it was, hey, I'm going to record a video to you, and then you're going to record a video back, and then we're going to do that, right? What I want is the time to think of a response. What I want is, hey, here's the thing of them saying all the stuff they want to say, but with all the context of speaking face to face, but without the time pressure of speaking face to face. That would be cool. Also tremendously bandwidth heavy, and in terms of literally the internet bandwidth. So yeah, not good in that respect. And also, I have an SSD. SSDs basically, their lifespan is used up every time they write data, and so having something like that would be bad. But you know, sort of, I would prefer that as a form of communication. Like, I don't want to have an instantaneous Skype communication. What I want is for us each to send a video message, say, once every week, with a sort of update of, hey, how am I being? Right? So now I've sort of explained the basics of sort of like autism and why communication for me is difficult. I'm going to have a break well, basically to get some Diet Coke, and then we're going to talk about cognitive load as it relates to life, and Kalman syndrome, and growth hormone deficiency, and all the ways in which I am fucked. Yeah. See ya in the jump cut. Okay, so now we have explained how even basic social interactions are difficult, right? Kalman syndrome. Well, what is Kalman syndrome? I mean, saying this is arguably opening a can of worms because there's a whole lot of people who don't know this. But I suppose basically this is the NSFW section. So if you are at work, I suggest you close this and actually I'd suggest you kind of close this. You know, an introduction to autism is probably good enough for you. But I'm going to continue saying what I'm going to say because I'm going to continue saying what I'm going to say. So yeah, what the fuck is Kalman syndrome? Well, I've got an idiopathic mutation of Kalman syndrome, and you can look up the definitions on Wikipedia and stuff, but basically what it means is my olfactory bulb didn't develop, and the part of the brain that was supposed to regulate testosterone and release it wasn't there, and it was supposed to regulate a whole lot of other things, not regulating other things. So I didn't have testosterone going through puberty, so that's had consequences. I'm not going to go into the gory details, although they are in other videos, and you can look them up. But basically, there are reasons. There are very, very many reasons why I am very much in favor of breaking the stigma of having a small penis and undersized cock and balls. Sorry, I was like, how do I, you know, think of a way to tactfully say this? There is none. There just is none. I had less testosterone than the average woman. Not good. Not good. And also, kind of why I'm so screwed up now, because of course I grew up, right, in a culture that is very heteronormative, and I'm a white male. I grew up in a very sort of heteronormative culture as a white man. You know, when I grew up, gay was very much still a slur, right? And so therefore, you know, you wanted to be attracted to women, and you wanted to be really attracted to women. And I was, you know, obviously I basically didn't have the energy I didn't have the testosterone to be attracted to fucking anything, right? And so that's where I sort of fell into fetishes and pursued them like a passion, because it's just like, yes, yes. I mean, okay, I'm, fantasizing about keeping beautiful women as pets, but I like women! I'm straight! Woo! And then, of course, I realised, no, hang on, I'm bisexual. And then I realised, no, hang on, I have low testosterone, I have a tiny cock and balls. What the fuck? And so, yeah, another part of the reason trans people hate me is the fact that I am a guy who has experienced. I'm a cis guy. That cis means essentially the gender you were assigned with at birth is the gender you identify with. I'm cis. I'm a cis guy, and I have tits. I've experienced dysphoria. I have been misgendered. I now have to take testosterone injections every 3 months, right? I feel like if you were to plot it on a graph of like identifying factors of, sort of the trans people and the trans experience, and you were to plot, the factors I have experienced as a result of having Kalman syndrome, that there would be a significant enough overlap in the Venn diagram as to mean, hey, I, as a cis guy, understand at least a certain amount of what it's like to be trans, because I have felt a certain amount of dysphoria, I have felt a certain amount of, I've been misgendered, I need to take testosterone just to be the gender I feel I am, right? I haven't felt the stigma to the same extent as trans people, and obviously as a cis guy, right, if I did step foot in America, I could go to the toilet just fine without harassment, because hey, I'm, I genuinely do realize that trans people are being absolutely persecuted. So I can understand why they are very upset and hateful towards the idea that a cis guy could have an understanding of what they think. But like, Kalman syndrome is so rarely known about. And guys don't talk about their problems. They just don't. Right? We would sooner die than see the doctor about fucking cancer in the arse. Right? That's just a thing that happens. Right? This is why all these, beautiful female celebrities do these, bloody adverts every year just saying, for God's sake, guys, check your balls out for lumps. Because we are so awkward and embarrassed about it, and we're just like, no, I'm fine! Fuck you, I'm fine! I'm the peak of masculine virility! And I mean, you see this in the people who are attacking me, you see this in Trump phenomenon, and in the 4chan phenomenon. It's always just these men saying, no, I am strong, I am manly, value me for my manliness! And so there is no Kalman syndrome support group. No, there is no wide support. And so I reached out as a fucking dumb, autistic, stupid head. Like going, these people will understand me, they will help me, they will give me guidance. And they said, fuck you, you're prejudiced, fuck you, we don't want you here, fuck off. And then I was just sort of there, discriminated by all the fucking cis guys. discriminated by the trans people, and I'm bisexual as well, so the fucking gay people hate me, the straight people hate me. Not a good place to be. Not a good place to be. Not a good place to be. Not a good place to be at all. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Because, oh yeah, growth hormone deficiency shortens your lifespan. I mean, I'm on hydrocortisone pills to kind of make up for the fact that my pituitary gland isn't releasing the hydrocortisone I need to live. But at the end of the day, I always want to go on to a bloody Yes Minister spiel, but there's no noticeable, discernible difference between the lifespans of people who are on testosterone, who are on hydrocortisone and not. Right, like it'll keep you going, but you're still gonna have a reduced lifespan, and I don't know how much it's gonna be. You know, when I say I'm a dead man walking, I don't just mean capitalism is killing me. I mean I've got hydrocortisone deficiency. I've got growth hormone deficiency, which means that I'm going to have a much shorter lifespan than everybody else. And that's why when people say, hey bro, lift, go for drugs, stop eating all that crap, I'm like, fuck you, I'm not going to make it to the point where I don't know. I don't know what the averages are. I don't know how long I have to live if all goes well. I don't at all. I'm gonna die early. I don't know when. I know it's gonna happen. And at the same time, right, my ability to have kids is greatly difficult. Not just because, I've got a tiny cock and, I got tits. But also in the sense that, my swimmers ain't good. Surprise, surprise, going through puberty without good levels of testosterone is a bad thing. My sperm is shit. Shit. And it gets worse. Well, I suppose it can't really get worse than I'm going to die early. But there are other bad things. And namely, basically, that, how I was talking about how autism means that that social communication is something I have to consciously think about, and that it's difficult because I have to consciously think about, well, basically having growth hormone deficiency, having Kalman syndrome, means that my cognitive load, the amount of stuff I can think about and do anything about per day, is drastically low. Drastically low. And this is why I'm constantly drinking caffeine. Because I have only got a certain amount of willpower, of thinking power per day, right? And I suppose it's kind of like, Tony Stark at the end of Iron Man 1, it can power, one big thing for so long, or lots of little things for so long, right? I basically have to choose what I want to do for a day. Do I want to socialize? Do I want to do work? Do I want to clean my room? Do I want to empty the rubbish? Do I want to do the washing up? Do I want to shower? Or what? It's an or situation. I can do basically one thing. And it's hell. It's absolute fucking hell. Because I'm a dreamer. I have a big imagination. I mean, this is why the fucking trolls are. This is why they fucking are laughable to me. Because they are so small-minded. They are so tiny things. And they have got such tiny little minds, and they think so small, so very small. And it's like, here I am, thinking up multiverses and multiversal physics and organising character arcs and metaphors, and I can't get any of it done. Because I don't have the energy. Because I don't have the processing power. I don't have the RAM. I don't have the fucking willpower. I don't have the fucking willpower. And basically at the moment, things are really quite bad. Because my mum is not so hot. Not doing so great. I mean, she's alive. She's gonna be okay. She's gonna live. But she needs me to sort of help her at the moment, to care for her a bit at the moment. And I am not a good carer. I struggle with people at the best of times. These are not the best of times. These are so far from the fucking best of times. Just tell me why you choose to lean on. A man you knew was falling. I have been cutting back everything I can to try and find the energy to help my mother. That's why I stepped back from fucking YouTube. And if you dumb motherfuckers want to get arrested because you're so desperate for your sweet rare Jahans, then hey! Come get some! I'll take your photo, I'll ship you over to the fucking police station, and your life as you know it will be over. Clap, clap! Nice trolling! I don't give a shit what you fucking think. Write your fucked up fanfic! Write soliloquies on how I suck! Why, write essays on why you would like to rape my sister and flay me alive. I don't care. Nobody fucking cares. You are sick, you are pathetic, and you are going to die cold and alone, just like me. Except actually, no wait, I've got a damn sight more sexual partners than you do. And I'm not just talking about right hand and left hand. In the sense that I have very, 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 very good friends who are around my age, i.e., 20-ish. Just to be clear. I am not as cold and alone as you. But, I kind of wish I was more alone. Because dealing with people is hard for me. So hard. I had an opportunity to make a crass joke then, and I showed restraint, and I am proud of myself. But yeah, it's like one of these scenes in Star Trek, in like Star Trek Voyager or whatever, where it's like rerouting everything to life support systems. Come on, let's keep this going. Or it's like, no, we just need to pile everything into the Megadeth laser. Cut off life support systems. I don't care if I die. And honestly, at this point, I don't care if I die. I am a disposable asset as far as I am concerned. What matters is that my mother gets better. What matters is that my family is able to recover. And, they want me alive, so I'm gonna do my best to stay alive, but I've only got so much energy, I've only got so much willpower. If I need to take care of a crisis, I don't give a shit about myself. Trouble is, you can't keep doing that forever. I had all these savings that I was getting together from like YouTube and what have you, to try and maybe someday get upgrades for my computer, and they're gone at this point, because you just gotta survive, and I need to be able to care for my mum, and it's at this point it's a well-known idiom that you don't go shopping if you're tired and if you're hungry. Well, that's the only time I go shopping, because frankly at this point there is so much shit going on that if I don't need to go shopping, I'm not fucking going shopping. So I'm spending like 20 quid a pop every time I go shopping. And I know I shouldn't, but you gotta survive. You just gotta see it through from next day, so fuck it. If I use up all my savings, so what? I need to stay alive. My mother needs to stay alive. We need to see through this period of chaos. And this is why I quit YouTube. Because I needed to just reroute everything to trying to keep my mother going, right? And it's like my feet are in agony from all the constant fucking walking because you know, my mum can't drive at the moment. And she can barely walk at the moment. So it's like I've got to do everything, and it's like I'm someone who can barely live a life of writing shitty fiction and playing Skyrim, and now I am being a fucking nurse, and I'm shit at it. I'm shit at it. I am so bad. But the more she's got right now, so I'm gonna do it. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. I don't care what you fucking write about me. I don't care what you do to destroy my reputation at this point. I don't even fucking care if my fucking Gmail gets hacked to all my Facebook. So what? Just so fucking what? What matters is that my fucking mum lives and gets to spend the rest of her days reasonably happy. I don't care about myself. I'm fucked. I know I'm fucked. I've spent the last 2 years realizing I'm fucked. Because you know what? Even if I get through this, even if my family helps me find the money from fucking somewhere to stay the goddamn alive, I'm still gonna die early. And I ain't gonna have a legacy. I'm fucked. And this is why I don't give a fucking shit what people say about my weight and the caffeine and why you're drinking that. Because I've got to stay alive. I've got to have energy to help my mother. And Diet Coke gives me the fucking energy I need. Mints give me the fucking energy I need. Pizza keeps me goddamn going. And yeah, I know, exercise is good for you. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of walking. Really fucking feels good when my feet are in goddamn agony. When I wake up day after day, utterly fucking shattered and aching all over. I know that I need to try and have a healthy life in the long term. But this isn't about the long term right now. This is just about seeing through this shitty period because fucking neurotypical people would struggle with what I've got to try and do right now. I mean, she's my mother. And I've got to take care of her. And that's not a position anyone should fucking have to be in. But I'm in it. And I've got to do my best. And so nothing else matters, really. Nothing else in the fucking world right now. Because you know what? I'm not the only person who's fucked. Capitalism is dying. And if you guys think that we've got an immigration problem right now, wait till 2050. Fucking wait till 2050. It'll make the fucking English arriving in America look small. Because we are going to be on, like, the West, the popular, not popular, The rich West is in debt. And those debts are gonna come due. And they're gonna wreck our economy further and further and further. And we are facing a demographic time bomb of the fact that pensioners are getting older and older and older, and we have less and less young people working to pay for them. This is why all these, governments keep raising the age at which people are working. I'm fairly certain this is why people are, this is why people are touting right to die, right? Because it would be damn fucking handy if a whole load of pensioners were to take the easy way out and therefore save the state an awful lot of money. It might keep the peace. It might mean that revolution isn't fucking gonna happen. And also, we're seeing, we're seeing the fact that all these people in all these developing countries, they're going to have millions of desperate young people who are going to want to go somewhere, and there's going to be us, and it's like, there isn't going to be the money to care for all the old people. There isn't. But old people vote. So that's going to be interesting. Bearing in mind that our countries are already in massive, staggering amounts of debt, that the economies are already in the shit, bearing in mind that technological unemployment is already massively reducing jobs. Because here's the things, guys, all the jobs that the out-of-work people who didn't go to school, who didn't go to university, all of the work that the poor, white, lower-class, working-class people of Britain and America would do is being done by machines. Right? It's being done by machines. And here's the thing, guys, an Australian model won't help you. A UKIP model of, well, we're only going to accept people into the country who have the degrees to work here, all that's going to do is make it even worse for the bloody native poor white people. Because then the people who are coming into the country are going to have degrees and qualifications that they're not going to have. And it's like, self-scan machines are a thing, and they are getting rid of so many jobs, right? Yeah, okay, there's still some checkout till workers, there's still some people working in the warehouses and at the delicatessens and, stuff like that, but they're hiring a lot less checkout staff. A lot more people are out of work. And, self-driving cars work now. It's just literally a case of how long before they enter mass production, how long before they're allowed out onto the roads, how long before, say, how long before, Tesco or Amazon or whatever decide to use self-driving lorries to deliver their goods. How long before all these trucking firms just use self-driving trucks? Because they're cheaper. They don't need to be paid all these stuff, if there is a socialist revolution. These machines they aren't going to deal with that. I mean, I actually feel like this is why we're seeing so much social justice happening at the moment, right? The reason why we have the rise of fascism now is, oh no, social justice. The reason we've got social justice is that social justice is cheap. Social justice does not cost you anything economically, right? It really doesn't fucking cost anything economically to say, okay, we're gonna say that, you know, you can't treat gay people like shit anymore. We're gonna say you can't treat trans people like shit anymore, right? It really doesn't cost anything just to let gay people get married, right? It doesn't cost anything to let, you know, to let people enter into polyamorous relationships. It doesn't cost anything to the state. It's just a thing that they can pass to make everybody clap and say, yay, we like you, you're progressive, yay, when they haven't spent any money. Well, I mean, okay, with trans you have, you know, money that you spend on the state, but like, that you have money that you either it has to be paid to insurance companies, as in, hold on, that was nothing. But you know, you either have money that you know goes to pay for insurance companies, as in America, or it goes to private companies to do the work, or it, you know, you have to pay the NHS staff or whatever to do the surgeries, right? But, you know, that's a thing that costs. But like legalizing marijuana, you know, that is something that, you know, saves you money, right? This is something that, you know, you can introduce. It will save you money. It will make you money because suddenly you've got a whole new source of tax revenue, and people will clap and cheer and say, yay, we like you. The reason we are seeing so much social justice is because it's cheap. Because the countries do not... Hold on. Governments are in debt. They're facing a demographic time bomb. They're facing the issue that people are gonna come and they're gonna be desperate, and they're people. We aren't talking about fucking White Walkers here. You know, they're humans. We have planes, we have boats, we can build tunnels. They will find a way in. And so, you know, it really is just a matter of time before the status quo of the world is flipped completely upside down. I mean, there is part of me that is almost, because you know, I like what I like. I like what I know, right? And the thing is, the world is going to change utterly. So part of me is like, it would be very, 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 very horrible. But at the same time, at least the system would remain the same if we were to see a rise of fascism and all the fascists were to turn up, kill off all the old people, and, you know, sort of go into all these burgeoning countries, mass exterminate them, and then we could have a socialist revolution, you know, bring in UBI, everybody gets looked after, we've got the money to look after everything, and we don't have to worry about the people from all these other countries coming in. Right? Evil thing to say, and also never would actually fucking work. Right? Like, after World War II, no country is ever going to get away with, well, we'll just kill all the old people. And I'm not seriously saying we should kill all the old people. I am, however, saying that, like, we're out of options here. You know, at this point, the only way through this is basically technological unemployment saves us, right? Because essentially there will come a point when technological unemployment means we don't need workers. That society can function without people working. The trouble is, the closer we get to that point, the harder it is going to be for society to function, the harder it is going to be for people to function. Hold on. So the world's kind of fucked. And it's even more fucked from the sense that, like, after so many years of neoliberalism have been driving us steadily down the centre of essentially making workers have less and less power, making them less and less important, and just using, social liberalism, social justice to basically enact a load of very cheap policies that will keep the people content as you treat them like shit. Right? These have basically pushed us to the point now of basically major left-wing socialism, right? Which means that we're going to have strengthening of unions, seize the means of production. So, here's the thing. There are now so few workers that if you seize the means of production, you're basically just swapping one set of tyrants for another. Except now the tyrants are people who are unelected. Right? And also, if you strengthen the unions and you raise the minimum wage and you do all this stuff to make sure the people don't riot, to make sure people can live, technological automation will increase and increase and increase, and it's like, that's fine once we reach the point where technological automation removes capitalism. How long is it going to take to get there, though? Right? I'm being optimistic when I say we will see it happen within my lifetime. It may be that it takes us hundreds of years to actually properly get rid of all the jobs. Which means that it's going to take us hundreds of years to get to the point where we don't need workers. Which means it's going to take us hundreds of years with the vast majority of people not working and not being able to work because there aren't the jobs. And capitalism, there is this saying that capitalism will always create bullshit jobs, right? Here's the thing, though. There's an app for that. Literally, right? What bullshit job would a person do? Well, there's an app for it. We've got drones now. We've got fucking drones now. What do you need doing? We've got drones, we've got apps, we've got 3D printers, we've got virtual reality, augmented reality, we can de-skill jobs, we can hand the jobs over to machines. Like, we don't have enough bullshit to go around. We just don't. I mean, I actually think it's a fairly optimistic view of the future to suggest that, by 2050, we'll all just be doing other kinds of bullshit work, right? No, it's not going to be happening. And neither are we all going to be claiming one kind of social security payment or another. because it won't be possible to afford any of it. We're fucked. You know, I think what we're actually going to witness within the next couple of decades is introduction of policies intended to effectively help the peaceful die-off of a vast majority of the human race. Right? We're going to see a whole load of legalization of drugs. We're going to see a destigmatization of unhealthy habits. You know, we're going to see cutbacks to mental health services. And we're going to see, increasing ease of right to die legislation to just be like, we're going to let you sort yourself out. And maybe we are going to see the rise of post-capitalism as cooperatives and the entrepreneurial spirit allows people to be safe. But we're also going to see a lot of people basically drinking themselves to death, taking drugs to take themselves to death. Hey, we're clamping down on smoking, but hey, we've come up with this new form of smoking called vaping, that even though it's exactly the same and run by exactly the same people, it's not treated the same way, so therefore everybody's smoking again. Except now they look like idiots when they do it. We're just gonna see people just being induced to kill themselves slowly so they aren't a burden, because at this point it's not about, are they gonna be a burden to us? It's about, what about their kids and their kids and their kids and their kids, because we don't know how much longer it's going to be, and because the political realities of the world are such that no country can come to no political party can come to power and actually do anything. There's nothing any one country, any one political party can actually fucking do to address any of these problems, one way or the other. So they're just gonna try and keep us relatively content as they hope we fucking die off. Because if we're dying off, we're no longer part of the budget and we're no longer part of the issue. Where it gets interesting is the fact that everybody is so much more connected and so much more intelligent that they're not going to be able to get away with that necessarily. Right? I genuinely think we may see another American Revolution within the next 50 years. And I'm not just saying that because of Trump. I'm saying that because the forces that put him there are still going to be there once he's gone. Alright, if we impeach him, there's still going to be 4chan, there's still going to be all these other things, there's still going to be the reason that he was elected in the first place. Who comes after Trump? The dissatisfaction, the desire to watch the world burn, it's happening to everyone. The world is fucked. And all we can do is try to do our best with the time that we have. And I suppose that's what I'm trying to do with me. I've got to keep my mum alive. I've got to make sure she's okay, but other than that, I just want to try and be happy. Because there is no solution. You know, maybe social liberalism will save us. Maybe technological unemployment will reach a crescendo that allows us to be saved by UBI or something like that. What I do know, however, is that I don't have the energy to deal with life. I don't have the processing power available to deal with any of this. And I think I need to stop kidding myself that I can do anything. Oh yeah, I'm going to be a great entrepreneur, I'm going to do all this writing, and I'm going to create all these videos, and I'm going to create a grand website. Fuck that, I'm not going to. I don't have the energy, I don't. What the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I fucking doing? I don't have the energy, I can't do anything, I can't fucking do anything, I don't have the energy. I don't have the processing power, I don't have... I can barely function as a person. And I'm not going to be able to get anything done. But I have turned over a new leaf in the chapter of my life, in the sense that finally, at last, after fucking complaining to fucking Amazon, 20 days after I goddamn ordered it, my copy of Getting Things Done has arrived. My personal CD player for listening to audiobooks has arrived. And I'm feeling chill because I've got a load of good TV series to watch, and I'm not out of the woods yet, but I think there is a very interesting path that may prove to be the way out, and I hope things go okay for me. But in any case, in case I don't make another video again, do something good with your lives. Do something good with the time you have left. Treat people nicely, and don't be dickheads. No one should be dickheads. Anyway, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna eat some food because my stomach is grumbling like heck. And I think what I might actually do is load up my personal CD player and listen to some of this Waterloo thing while I play some Skyrim or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna set this to render, so see ya! Thank you for watching my main channel. Please remember to leave a like, favourite and comment. Shout out to the dislike club. Subscribe if you like what you saw, and share if you know someone who might be interested in the contents of this video. If you would like to help ensure more videos get made, there are a few options available to you. You can whitelist this channel in your adblock software to ensure what ad revenue you provide has a chance of making its way to me. If you sign up to make a regular monthly donation through my Patreon, then you will get to watch a selection of videos available exclusively to my Patreon supporters over at my Patreon page. One-off donations are payable through PayPal, or if that doesn't suit your sensibilities, you can gift items through Steam or Amazon via my public wish lists. Obviously, I don't expect anything, and the vast majority of my videos will remain free and ad-supported. All that remains is to say Trump should be impeached, the genocidal must be stopped, and institute universal basic income now.